When we called Tom Costanza to talk about the 10-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, his first words were of gratitude.
I'm glad you actually reached out to us because it's important the solidarity that we experienced across, especially from the Northeast in New York and the Catholic Charities in your area and Brooklyn and Albany. Were very, very generous to us. So this is also a time to acknowledge the generosity of the church across America.
As the humanitarian crisis unfolded in New Orleans 10 years ago, Catholic Charities threw themselves into helping at field hospitals that sprang up, and then provided mental health services to hundreds of thousands of people.
We didn't really have that much of a script book, at the time. It was such a catastrophe that we were kind of writing it as we went along. First, our senior leadership was at the Superdome, and you might have seen the tragedy that unfolded at the Superdome. So our senior leadership was providing, counseling and just support in this tragedy that was unfolding. We weren't known as really a disaster response agency before Katrina, right? I mean, we just weren't, and we had everybody adapted, and the whole agency morphed into a response agency. And after the immediate response phase, we moved into the rebuild phase. So we created an organization called Operation Helping Hands that gutted and repaired about 2,500 homes. So we began also working very collaboratively with other faiths. We were instrumental in designing a large interfaith collaborative that we had the Christians, the Jewish, the Muslims, everybody working together. Besides, doctrinal differences just kind of went out the door.
Catholic Charities New Orleans has continued growing into its disaster relief role as the area has been buffeted in following years by Hurricane Ike and the BP oil spill.
And each disaster is different, of course, but you learn from each one. Katrina revealed the character of our organization. It also revealed the systemic poverty that we dealt with before Katrina. And so right now, that's our important part of our work now, is to look at ways we can address systemic poverty. In terms of certainly, we've lost, we're losing coastline every day. Sea level is rising. We don't have a buffer that we had for the surge even 10 years ago. So there's that enormous sort of coastal restoration projects. But we're really looking more toward workforce development and counseling to look at, we're looking at fatherhood initiatives. How can we bring the family together? How can we sustain the family and strengthen the family to move out of poverty? That's kind of our focus now, which hopefully we can get a little breather to really do some good work in that area.
Reporting for Currents, I'm Konrad Aderer.